Hey folks, Quillian here, and welcome to a new episode of Let's Play RimWorld Modded. We are still in Sand in Pantsville. We still have 4 people. We actually haven't lost one yet, which is pretty surprising to me at this point in the game. And we do have a prisoner, but if I recall correctly, this prisoner would be extraordinarily hard to recruit. So we're not going to bother trying that. We will keep him alive for now, and hopefully sell him to slave traders, I think the plan. Still working on setting up our defenses over here. And, yeah, if a big attack did come right now, we'd be in a little bit of trouble, but hopefully we're going to be okay. I love it when there are lightning strikes at night, and you see the power on the solar panel go up a bit. Just, I don't know, for some reason it's one of the most entertaining things that there are in the game. It's like such a minor, little, inconsequential thing, and yet it's excellent. I don't know if they were explicitly coded to get a boost of power when there's a lightning strike, or if it really does tie into some sort of lightning system, because obviously the view does brighten when the lightning goes down. In any case, we should be relatively immune to the lightning strikes, and that'll be fine. You know, there's people that keep saying something about, like, the priority ones are higher than food and sleep, when that's clearly wrong. And I always feel bad when I'm not, like, responding to 100% of the advice that people are leaving in the comments, but it's hard to parse out the things that may or may not be true or false, and it does not seem to be true that priority 1 jobs are higher than sleep and food. So I don't know what's going on there. Maybe someone wants to clarify what they mean, but right now I've got to chalk it up to this is not a good piece of advice. But if you guys want to clarify, maybe there's something there. I do know that the next alpha will modify quite a few behaviors. I think doctoring and wardening, they prioritize that higher than doing food stuff, or at least the doctoring is. Someone can be starving, get like the -20 debuff, and they'll still be spending their time, you know, bringing food to someone who's been hurt or healing someone who's been hurt, and that's probably not a good idea. And I know that in the next alpha that is going to be changed. But other than that, they don't seem to, like, do construction when they're hungry. Like, Bamsabus over here is eating, even though there's construction jobs and mining jobs and whatever else Bamsabus is assigned to, growing and mining, for example. Yeah, there's plenty of stuff there, so that's okay. I think there's a bit of a conflict with the doctoring, but honestly, I think the doctoring might take priority over eating, even if it's a lower actual priority number. I'm not sure, though. So, we still haven't set up our research bay, which is probably stupid, but I'm going to work on the defenses first. I do know that the researching is pretty important, but we're going to do that. I'm a little concerned that I made the area a little too big to really defend adequately, especially since I'm planning to move into the mountains at some point, but I don't know. For now, it's okay. There's a lot of walking involved. I will give you that. If we hadn't built those buildings here, I could have put maybe defenses there, which would have tightened things up a little bit. But, I don't know, this gives us more room for outdoor crops. And since we can farm year-round here, that might turn out to be a very, very good thing. So, one of the things I'm wondering is if we just don't have enough farming. I mean, to me, this feels like it's a giant farming area. But perhaps we don't, and perhaps it would be a really good thing to drop another farm over here. We do have a few different crops. I could probably start like something like that, because we don't actually have much in the way of food in a stockpile. Now, part of it is we did just get a blight. Now, I don't know. I can't remember. I think blights are only... And I guess I can make, like, really weirdly shaped things, and people can walk through farms. So if I made a big farm like that, and then set it to... strawberry plants? I know strawberry plants can be eaten raw without getting a debuff, which is kind of interesting. So if we do this and mix up our crops, hopefully they can still be cooked and be part of a cooked meal and still be good. I'm crossing my fingers. It's a little further away from my main stockpile, but it should be all right. And just get a bunch more farming, and we can go ahead and we could put down another potato farm. I mean, it does suck that growing... wow, that is a hell of a derpy little farm, but what the heck. Yeah, you can go back to potato plants, and potato plants, hopefully you can actually... Looks like it's considered to be a separate zone because it's color-coded differently, but I think it's going to be all right. I'd like to get a crematorium up at some point, but we need to research that. So, right now, we're still doing this. Yeah, that is a long walking distance. Well, we'll see how it goes. Some people are freaked out the fact that the stockpile isn't big enough for the entire orbital beacon range. I don't think that's an issue right now. Much later in the game, maybe. But right now, it is completely irrelevant. It's irrelevant. If I set it as non-medical... Ah, look at that guy. Interesting. He wouldn't sleep in a prisoner medical bed. Kind of weird that you sort of need both. If a prisoner is like legit hurt, then they'll get treatment in a regular prisoner bed, but they don't get treated for infections and whatnot, which doesn't really matter for Redfields here, but it was important for Jupe. But then if they're not hurt, they won't sleep in a non-medical prisoner bed, or in a medical prisoner bed. Bizarre. I'm going to take a big haul of herbs over here to the base, and that's okay. Yeah, I'm a little concerned about just sort of efficiency and time usage right now. People are getting work done that's important, and that's very good. A little bit of growing here. We're going to keep mining out some steel. Actually, most of the steel mining has been DQ'd. And at some point, I would like to build the base. Maybe we'll just dig, instead of being over here, since there's so much steel, maybe we'll just dig out a base over here instead. Because I don't want to, like, leave the steel walls. And I think I've mentioned before, it's like, well, I can always dig out the steel and then build an actual wall, but there we have it. And speaking of steel walls, I'm actually really happy my structures are steel. Just a little less to worry about. I don't know if there are any more resistance to explosives. I guess we'll find that out when we get our first siege. And I suppose being in the desert, I really don't have to worry about fire spreading quite as much just because there's no plants. But I like the idea of not rebuilding stuff as much. Plus, it looks cool. And sometimes it trumps everything else. We got that gun. These guns are basically done. We can kill off the power on these bad boys. And how do you not have... Looks like you're actually not connected to anything, but you should be. There we go. And here it makes sense because... there we go. So there's a little puff that it shows you where it connects to. And this one obviously won't have power because that little bit is done, but now it's actually connected to the power grid. Okay, so the defensive area down here is complete, and I'm happy. We will have to build a proper one over here at some point. For now, though, just because I don't expect a massive attack, I think I'm going to go and finish off sort of a quickie setup like that. And I will rebuild a door. You know, we'll just do a regular door over here. I'm going to rebuild that door just to give me a little bit of extra delay so I can respond. We are low food. We only have 2 meals, but... our crops are going. We can also do a little bit of hunting, which isn't terribly efficient, but it is a possibility, and building needs power. You will get power eventually. Keep digging out the steel. Now, we've actually got a surplus of steel perhaps now, but I wouldn't mind digging out this last little bit. And then other than that, giving people a chance to finish various hauling and growing duties. Oops. Go ahead. You're in my base. Kill the iguanas that are in the base as a bit of a stopgap for the food. I'm really hoping we get a slave ship soon, because I hate the fact that we keep having to feed Redfields here. But it's not so bad. We do actually have a hunting job set up. High priority as well on Spook. Surprised he hasn't... Oh, there it is. Gone and shot that up. Got some meals. Are you cold? No. Looks like they're fine. The temperature in this room is 5 degrees, which is perfectly fine for keeping things relatively refrigerated. It's still going to spoil relatively quickly. We might have to get a proper refrigeration room. You know, maybe the butchering can be in a freezer room, but when we can move the cooking outside of this, and obviously they'll have to move sort of in and out, in and out, in and out. But that's... might be the sort of thing we want to do. Right now, it doesn't matter. There's none of the food, so nothing's going to go bad. We are harvesting a potato crop, so now we're actually going to be pretty good on food. So we'll reevaluate things relatively soon. But yeah, we are going to need some more bedrooms and things soon. And I still really want to put a bigger prison/medical ward. These might stay regular bedrooms, actually. But my prison and medical ward, because it's going to be important to keep positive traits as much as possible, though I want those rooms to be like 5x5 or 5x6, just to not get any sort of cramped moodlet. And that might actually be the first thing that we build into the mountains. And I'm really tempted to build my base in here now, as opposed to there, because it's going to get all derpified. So, yeah, I'm okay with that. Let's get another day. And defenses there are done. We'll build one more gun over there, and that'll make me feel pretty good about the situation. We currently have just enough power to last through the night on the batteries. We're going to want to get a little bit more power going on. And we got to start our research soon. You know what? Let's go ahead. Even though it will tie up one of my workers, obviously. We want... Is it under production? It is. And you can't make a wooden one. Oh, you can make a wooden research bench. Okay. We'll get that built, and then we'll get the research going. And maybe Crisser Ninja... it's going to be tough, because right now he's still the Doctor Ward and this and that, and the best researcher, so what do we want him to do? Well, doctoring is so critically important. What I can do is I'll take him off wardening duty, actually, and put Bomsapus there. And yeah, he's good at other things, but there's some overlay there. And what we'll probably end up doing is... Do I want research above the rest of this? Plant cutting and crafting. Well, plant cutting especially doesn't matter. I guess we'll turn Crystal Ninja off crafting. Hauling and cleaning is really good. Above researching? We want a full-time researcher. We could put someone else on high priority crafting or hauling and cleaning duty if we wanted to de-emphasize some other role. So Bamsabus could be primarily the warden and grower. And if by any chance you're not doing anything like that, you can fall to these others. Which, I mean, whether they're priority 1 or 2 doesn't make any difference because it'll fall to the same thing. But that can emphasize the sort of decay. Warden if we want wardening. Otherwise, you're going to be growing plants. And then you've got some other stuff which is totally fine for you to do. I do want a high priority miner though, which might be Spoonk over here. If we've got any mining to do, someone's got to do it, so that'll be your job. If you don't have any mining to do, I guess you can do some crafting, which isn't going to come up yet. We can probably turn this off completely. It's kind of irrelevant. I'll bring it down to 2. Mine if you've got it. Otherwise, do the hunting if I've got anything queued up. Otherwise, construct, repair, then fall to some other stuff, which looks okay. And then Jupe, who's a great constructor, and has currently got the cooking. He's got the passion for cooking. It would be nice to skill him up. If we've got anything to cook, you cook. We do need a full-time cook. That's going to be great. If we've got anything queued up for construction and repair, you can do that. Otherwise, do some growing to make sure that keeps going, and then some other stuff, which is okay. All right, that might be pretty good. I mean, we're going to keep tweaking these priorities constantly, nonstop. Basically, in response to something not being done when we want it to be done. Yeah, we have another normal bedroom over here, which is fine. But with all that, I mean, everyone's still busy. We've got the food situation is starting to improve. We're getting a little bit more material. I'm pretty happy with the idea of starting to carve out our actual base, which is not going to be here anymore. So our mountains are going to look a little shittier because, you know, we've got ruddy kind of stuff going on here, but that's okay. So my idea is a double wide corridor like this. And I'd like some, you know, maybe bigger production rooms near the front. That's okay. I still like the idea of the kitchen and things being outside near a lot of our farms. But we could potentially, you know, carve things, do whatever. People are going to be moving in and out for bedrooms quite frequently, so maybe we actually will put the bedrooms really close to the front. I could do something like, that is 5 by 6, which gives nice, I believe, spacious interior buffs. So what if we do something like that, and we actually get 4 of them? These are going to be big prisoner/medical rooms. And we can toggle the beds on and off based on how many people are injured versus how many prisoners we've got. And then we'll put a light in there, maybe put a carpet, a nice floor, give people the pleasant environment buff as much as possible. I think that's a good start for things. And I'll limit the carving to just that. And yeah, is it just me? It seems to take a lot longer to carve through granite than the steel as well. We've got a bunch of steel just kicking around right now. We could carve out some more, but I think I'm going to leave it be as is. I think I think we've got, you know, we've got a little bit in the stockpile to respond to things. No one has still gotten around to building this turret, even though I have construction as such a high priority on some people. Oh, not really. Jup might be spending a lot of time cooking, and then there's some mining over here, so. I think I might want to go back to the idea that someone, if there's any construction, do that first, and then go and, you know, construct if you can. If you don't have any materials, then go and mine. I think that's pretty good. All right, waiting for a slave ship. Yeah. I really do like having construction being something that happens right away if there's anything queued up. I'll have to try to avoid queuing up too much construction. But if I construct anything, I want someone to finish right away and then go to their normal duties. I think having anything that's not constant, right? You're not going to grind constantly. I think I like the idea, combat suppliers, of having an instantly responsive construction job whenever possible. We could buy some more medicine. This is a combat trader, so of course it's one of the better prices on the medicine. We could sell some things we don't care about. These crossbows, the spear, a great bow. To me, they're not particularly impressive. Selling off the British Bulldog might be a good idea as well. It's a pretty crappy little pistol, and we've got a poor quality shiv over here. Can we get Accuracy International? Range 40. Ooh, nice sniper rifle. Designed for Magnum rifle cartridge chambering. I don't know what that means, but it sounds very sexy. And we can afford it. I think I'm going to keep buying any super long-range weapons. 32 is not bad. It's a automatic weapon. Range 25. I mean, good damage, 9 as opposed to 6. It is really potent. Experimental laser weapon. Yeah, high damage and range 30. I mean, 30 is not bad, don't get me wrong. It might be a good idea to just keep getting helmets. If I recall, yeah, 2 of our people don't have helmets yet. Ideally, we would like ones that also increase their temperature. Like here, the Jaffa helmet. Not great protection, but you get the plus 30 comfortable temperature. This is great solar protection. Now, our original 3 do have the solar heat protection built in, but it'd be a nice thing for someone like Jupe. It's also pretty cheap. Yeah, I'm going to go ahead and buy that. Accuracy International. 40 damage. Range, the accuracy falls off pretty quickly, but that is huge range and 40 damage. You know what? That's got to mess people up. Let's buy one of those. A little bit crazy. We're spending a lot of money on weapons, but I want, like, well-armored people this time around. Jupe. I don't know where you are. You're going to put on that helmet. Are you still pantsless? No. We've got pants kicking around, so I'm hoping you've got pants. You do. You have a jacket. You don't have a normal shirt on, though. Why don't you wear the Synth Threads shirt? Very nice. And you are packing the Lee Enfield, which is fine. Spunk is our primary shootist, and he's got a decent gun. I think everyone else has got pretty normal shooting skills, like a 3, right? 7 for Spunk. Bamsabas has a little passion for shooting, so tell you what, you go ahead and equip that. I should set up a shooting range at some point and get you to practice. Anyone who's got the hunting skill assigned will use the shooting range on whatever priority you set it, and that can be pretty handy, especially on Bamsabas, who will gain a little bit more experience points a little bit faster. All right, I'm pretty satisfied with that. We're spending a lot of resources, but the other thing we can do is we can still mine out the silver. We've got some there. I thought there was silver somewhere else too. Here's some more silver. Like, we've got silver just waiting to be picked out of the walls. So we're going to do that. Buying some body armor might be another good investment, but, you know, hopefully we don't really have to get in that much personal combat. Turn that off. What do we got? Oh, travelers. Come on, slave ship. Ooh, Redfields is hungry. Bamsabas is going to feed him. That's fine. And yeah, very long little construction job over there. We are going to go structure. And again, I'll just steel wall. Maybe overkill, maybe not. I don't know. Steel auto door and a power conduit that leads through there. I think that'll automatically home zone everything as well. Oh, and there'll be an air conditioner in that slot. Does the air conditioner have to be built on a wall, or is it built? Does it replace a wall, actually? Oh, the wall already got built, so all right. Something like that. Keep the interior cool. We've got one of those too. Now, this is a small area. It's probably not using that much power. I'll go ahead and you can keep the temperature in here as high as 25. I don't want it scorching, but we'll use a little less power over there. More travelers. Okay. That was come in pairs, it feels like. Now, one of those were traders. So they'll set up a little trade shop, won't they? Bit of a nap, which is okay. A little bit of steel still left in reserve. Yeah, not much, but a little. I should probably go ahead and... Well, they're going to be mostly mining over here, won't they? But I'll still go ahead and flag some mining jobs up here for this extra steel. Looks like we might almost be out of that little stockpile, which is fine. No, officially missing some construction material. He'll get there. Crusader Ninja doing a little bit of cleanup. Bamsabas mining out some more steel. Lovely. And Spunk is still working on my new base. Awesome. One of the other things I could do is just buy steel in bulk, which would speed things up. Oh, cancel. Cancel that way. Only want you to build up this area for now. Getting some more potatoes. And still don't have a whole lot of stuff in the stockpile. Maybe we need a lot more farming than I thought, or more people dedicated to growing. I don't know. Looks like these Zeri gums take a long time to go. The other thing is, do I drop a solar lamp in the middle of this whole area? Solar lamps can fritz out though. I think the solar lamps are mostly meant for inside work. I don't think they tend to grow at night anyway. They get a resting period. I seem to recall some sort of buff like that. These farms look a little derpy, but I mean, at least they're farming. Combat suppliers left comm range. Another group of travelers are coming by. Alright, we got a research base. Or we got the research set up. Krister Ninja is still busy doing a lot of hauling and cleaning. Oh, we also don't have a research job set up. No, we have pneumatic picks set up. Because we're planning on doing a lot of mining. You're going to haul potatoes. Alright, I think I'm going to turn off... I could have gone the other way. Your hauling jobs. Some things might go unhauled for a little while, because I don't want to bring hauling and cleaning up as a higher priority over here, because I want them to finish. But I'll let Krister Ninja start research. Pneumatic picks would save us a little bit of time, even though it doesn't really unlock a new building type, which may or may not be something we actually want to prioritize. But there's a lot of mining left to do. So what the heck? So some things may be a little unhauled. Most of the stuff from the map has been collected. We don't have any bodies to go right now. If these plants hang out over here for now, it's going to be alright. They're not spoiling that fast. And Jupe still has a cooking job, so he's sort of going to automatically end up hauling the food into the refrigerated room. So I think that's going to be okay. And at least the pneumatic picks go relatively quick. So we'll go ahead and grind out some of this research. That'll be fine. Power. Going around this way. Make sure the power lines are in before we finish all the pneumatic doors, just to make sure that they get powered right from the start. And speaking of power, we are going to need more. I think the next thing I'll do is research the geothermals. Getting geothermals is really, really handy. We're getting to the point where the 3 solar panels aren't quite going to cut it, and I don't know if I want to bother with the wind power the same way. Geothermal is really good. And then after that, we'll probably upgrade the turrets to the 4 bullets as opposed to the 3. Slave trader. Slave traders! Krister Ninja. We are going to sell Redfields. We didn't chop up his body parts. We're trying to avoid too many negative debuffs, just to say. That will... Can't afford... Like Vivian... God, Vivian's really good. Vivian is... Oh, they're both the same price. We'd have to... Yeah, we can't quite do it. Unless we sold a bunch of medicine or sold the Lee Enfield. I'm not going to do that. I'm just going to sell Redfields. And that'll be good. If I hadn't spent money on, you know, guns and things, I could have afforded an extra person. On the other hand, I don't know. I'm pretty happy with that. So we'll make a little bit of dough, sell off our prisoner so we no longer have to feed him. Missing some construction materials. That's okay. They'll get to it eventually. Maybe after this, but fine. Boom. Okay, we're now mining faster, which is really good. Mortars will also be really good at some point. But my... stone cutting. Well, because I built all these steel walls. If I'd gotten stone cutting sooner, I could be doing that. I don't know. I think geothermal power is the smart thing at this point. If we do get stone cutting and get a bunch of steel blocks, like stone blocks, it takes up so much time for them to sit and do all the stone cutting. But we could always go and dismantle the steel walls and then replace them with stone walls. I don't think you get all the steel back, but a fair amount. So I don't know. I like the idea of everything being out of steel, though. It just makes it more spaceshipy. I know steel's an important resource that, you know, maybe I should be saving for other things, but damn it, I like having things out of steel. It looks cool. At least I'm happy not having anything out of wood this time, even though I have tons of extra wood. Well, the wood count is going down a little bit, and we don't really have the ability to chop down that many trees. I mean, I can keep flagging various cacti as they show up inside my base to get a little bit of a wood supply for building some furniture, for example. So we'll do that. Wood plant cutting is a relatively high priority, which I'm okay with, because again, I'm going to try to avoid bulk assigning chopping things. Not that I really can on this map, because we are in the desert. Well, we didn't get attacked this episode, which is pretty good. I'm going to wrap it up here. Hopefully, this base will really start to develop into something nice over here. And yeah, we'll leave this for prisoners and medical wards and try to make it relatively happy, hunky-dory. And hopefully my regular people are going to be happy over here. Certainly, we probably have a little bit of a negative debuff because we did sell a prisoner, but that's okay. Cramped environment is only hitting them at night. And that could always, you know, they could snap in the middle of the night while trying to sleep. But hopefully if the temperature is good, it's not an ugly environment because it is being cleaned. We'll cross our fingers that they are happy. I wonder if we floored this or put a little statue in here, if they might even get a pretty environment and a trade. Might not be quite enough, but we'll cross your fingers. But that'll have to happen next time. Thank you very much for watching, folks. Bye-bye.